So the first thing that we're going to do is prepare our beetroot. Now you need to get ready because this is quite messy. So you can see on my chopping board I've already peeled this first beetroot here, and you'll see that actually it is quite messy. There's red on my hands as well. So you might want to put out some newspaper, especially if you're going to get the children to help with this, because we're also going to grate it. So it is going to be a bit on the messy side. So get ready, prepared for that. And at the same time, it's a really good idea to put your oven on. You want it to be on 180 so that it can heat up now. And also I would get your butter out the fridge as well, because otherwise it's going to be too hard to do easy creaming with. Okay, so I'm going to just chop the top and bottom off my beetroot, and then I've got a potato peeler, and I'm just going to carefully peel the outside off. And then you're going to need a grater as well, so have that ready too. There we go, so that's quite easy. There's not too much wastage, but I'm just going to get that out of the way. And you want to end up with about 200, just over 200, about 220 grams of beetroot once you've finished. So here are my 2 beetroot, and I'm going to use this sharp side of the grater here. It's best if you don't use the great big holes, because you want it to be finer. But if that's all you've got, if you haven't got one like this on your grater, then don't worry. Just use the big one and it'll be fine. So if there's a few of you in your kitchen, you all might want to take a turn, because it's quite hard work. But on the other hand, then you'll all end up with red hands, so it's your choice. On with the rest of the cake. You'll see what state my hands are in, and yours will probably be the same by now. But that's okay, it'll rub off, don't worry. So I'm going to put that out of the way, and then I'm going to go on to making the rest of my cake. So in my bowl I've got my butter and my sugar. In my bowl you'll see that I've got 2 different colours of sugar, but that's only because I had 2 different makes of brown sugar in my cupboard. So yours will look all the same, and that's absolutely fine. So your butter should be a bit softened if you've got it out the fridge a little while ago. And all we're going to do, we've all done this before, is just cream the butter and sugar together until it's made one consistent paste. So you want to keep going until you haven't got any spare sugar or any butter lumps left in. So it shouldn't take too long, but you want to make sure that it's done really thoroughly. Sometimes it's easier if you pick it up and hold it like this. You'll see that I've set out all my other ingredients ready, and you should have all of these in your pack. Okay, so that's all mixed in nicely. Now the next thing you're going to do is you've got 2 eggs, and you're going to crack them into a little bowl. Get the children to help you do this. I've got my 2 eggs here are from the lady down the road, so you can see those nice colours. But actually the nutrition of an egg doesn't really matter whether it's brown or white, it's just the same. So whatever colour your eggs are, you've got them in a bowl. Just going to give them a bit of a beat. And then we're going to add them into our cake mix just a little at a time. So I put about 1/3 of mine in there. And then I'm going to beat them into that nice cream butter and sugar mixture. And if it starts to look a little bit curdled at this stage, which is where it kind of separates out a little bit, It doesn't matter because when you put the flour in, it'll all sort itself out. So don't fret about that. Just keep beating. Okay, and your mixture will probably look a little bit like that. So I've weighed out my flour here. You've got it weighed out in your pack already. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some cocoa powder to it. And what you want is a tablespoon. So I've got measuring spoons here, so I'm going to use one that says TBSP on it, which is tablespoon. If you haven't got one, it's a bigger spoon. So you could use like a cereal spoon and you just want a good heaped one. And there's also some baking powder, and we will have measured that for you in your pack. And this is just a teaspoon. So on my measuring spoons it says 1 TSP, which is teaspoon. So I put that in with my flour, and then I'm going to sieve it in, just to make sure that there's not any lumps. If you don't have a sieve, it's probably not the end of the world. Just have a look through it and see if there happens to be any major lumps in the cocoa powder or in the flour, and just press them out with your fingers. So if you haven't got a sieve, don't let that put you off doing this. It'll be fine. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to swap to a metal spoon, and we're just going to fold this in together with this slower movement. Just gently folding until all the dry flour has been incorporated into your eggy, buttery, sugary mix. Just keep going round and round until you can't see any dry flour left. Make sure you keep scraping down the sides of the bowl as well. And then in the end you'll see that the cocoa powder has given it a lovely chocolatey colour. My mixture's all incorporated. So now I can tip in my chopped chips, a little bit of vanilla. My vanilla's nearly run out. We will have weighed yours out for you in one of your boxes. You'll probably see it in with one of the other ingredients. And then that's where we're going to put the beetroot in as well. So all this lovely beetroot we're just going to pop into the mix. In as well. And you'll see it gives a fantastic colour. And you can probably also hear the chopped chips in there as well, because they will obviously stay hard, a bit like in a chopped chip cookie. And that's it, it's really very straightforward. There, look at the colour of that, it looks fantastic. So we've given you 6 muffin cases, and hopefully you've got a bun tin like this. If you haven't, then you can just sit these onto any kind of a baking tray. The shape might not be quite so good. They might sort of splodge out a little bit, but it won't matter, you can still do it. And I've only got 5 there, hold on. So this should easily make you 6 muffins. And then we're just going to carefully put a spoonful in each muffin case. Don't fill them right up to the very top because they are going to rise because of the baking powder that you put in. So they want to be, I would say, about 2/3 full. There we go. 6 chocolate beetroot muffins, and I'm going to pop them in the oven, and I'm going to make sure I set the timer because they're going to take about 20 minutes. So 20 minutes later, and there are my chocolate and beetroot muffins, and I'm very much looking forward to tapping each one with a cup of coffee. I hope you enjoy yours too.